Every January, the same question pops up. What exactly is Yennayer? Is it a thousands of years old Amazigh New Year, or is it an agricultural celebration that predates modern identities? It's a debate that fills social media and family gatherings. But today, we're going to travel back in time, beyond the slogans and arguments, to uncover the real origin of Yennayer, a festival deeply rooted in the history of North Africa. Whether you call it Yennayer, Huades, or Haguza, it's a celebration that connects millions of people to their land and their past. So, let's separate the history from the myth and discover the true story of this ancient tradition. First things first, Yennayer was not originally a political or identity-based festival. At its core, it's an agrarian celebration tied to the Julian calendar, which was introduced to North Africa during the Roman era. For centuries, this day has marked a crucial moment in the agricultural year. It signals the end of the ploughing season and the midpoint of the rainy season, a time when farmers look to the sky with hope for a fertile and abundant year. It was a time of cautious optimism, praying that the seeds sown would sprout and thrive. And historically, it wasn't just celebrated by Amazigh communities. Rural Arab populations and farming communities all across the Maghreb shared in these rites. It was a festival of the land, celebrated by all who worked it, regardless of their specific cultural identity. This shared heritage shows how deeply connected the people of North Africa are to the rhythms of nature and the agricultural cycles that have sustained them for millennia. It was a moment of unity, centered on the shared hope for a good harvest. So, why do we see Yennayer celebrated on different dates, like January 12th, 13th, or 14th? This variation isn't a mistake. It has a simple and logical explanation. It all goes back to the calendar. The Julian calendar, which was the basis for this agricultural celebration, is currently 13 days behind our modern Gregorian calendar. This means that January 1st in the Julian calendar actually falls on January 14th in our calendar. This is why many traditional communities celebrate on the 14th. So, where do the other dates come from? The date of January 12th was chosen by Amazigh cultural activists in the 1970s and 80s for symbolic reasons, creating a unified date for a modern cultural revival. Meanwhile, January 13th is a date celebrated in several regions of Morocco, representing another local variation of this tradition. These differences aren't contradictions. Instead, they are proof of a living, breathing tradition that has adapted and evolved in different communities over time. It shows the festival's resilience and its ability to hold meaning for different groups in slightly different ways. Now let's talk about the Amazigh calendar that starts the year 2974 this year. Where does this number come from? In the 1980s, an Amazigh activist named Amar Negadi proposed a new starting point for an Amazigh era. He chose the year 950 BCE, which corresponds to the coronation of Pharaoh Sheshonq I in ancient Egypt. Sheshonq was of Libyan or Amazigh origin, and his rise to power was seen as a significant moment of Amazigh influence in ancient history. However, it's crucial to understand that this dating is symbolic. There is no historical evidence that Amazigh people have been continuously counting the years from 950 BCE. This calendar was a modern creation, born out of a cultural and activist movement aimed at affirming Amazigh identity. This doesn't diminish its symbolic power or its importance to many people today. But for the sake of historical accuracy, we must distinguish between ancient traditions and modern reinterpretations. The agricultural festival is ancient. The numbering system is a recent, powerful symbol of cultural pride. One of the most fascinating aspects of Yennayer is the rich mythology that surrounds it, especially the legend of the Old Woman. Across the Maghreb, this story appears with different names: Haguza, Timgarin, or Imameru. The tale usually tells of an arrogant old woman who defied winter, believing the harshest days were over. As punishment for her pride, nature unleashed a final, brutal cold spell that froze her and her goats. These stories are much more than simple folktales. They serve a vital educational purpose, acting as agricultural guides and teaching social lessons. They are a powerful reminder that winter's grip can be unpredictable and that one should never be arrogant in the face of nature. The myth teaches caution, respect for natural cycles, and the importance of community solidarity to survive the tough times. It's a lesson passed down through generations, embedding a deep respect for the environment into the culture. At the heart of the Yennayer celebration is the food. The Yennayer meal is intentionally large, rich, and abundant, symbolizing the hopes for a prosperous year ahead. Traditional dishes often include couscous with 7 vegetables, dried legumes, and a mix of fresh and dried fruits. Many of the foods chosen are those that expand during cooking, like grains and beans, which magically represents the desire for growth and abundance. Sharing this meal is a communal act. Eating little is often seen as a bad omen, as if one is rejecting the prosperity that the new year might bring. In some regions, a special ritual involves hiding a bean or a date pit in the couscous. The person who finds it in their plate is considered the lucky one for the year, blessed with good fortune. This tradition turns the meal into a joyful game, reinforcing bonds and sharing hope for the future. Beyond the feast, Yennayer is also a time for games, masks, and carnivals. In many regions, children go from door to door, singing songs and collecting treats, a bit like Halloween. In other areas, you can see ancient carnivals where people wear masks and elaborate costumes. These rituals often symbolize the return of invisible forces or spirits at the turn of the year. By offering them food and sharing in the festivities, communities aim to appease these forces and bring the new year under positive and protective auspices. These traditions are found in different forms from Kabylie in Algeria to the region of Oran, and all across Morocco and even into Libya. Each carnival and each masked figure tells a local story, but they all share a common goal: to ward off evil, welcome good fortune, and start the year with joy and togetherness. In recent years, Yennayer has moved from a traditional community-based festival to an officially recognized national holiday. This is a huge step in acknowledging the deep cultural roots of the Amazigh people in North Africa. In 2018, Algeria declared Yennayer a paid public holiday, a landmark decision. More recently, in 2024, Morocco followed suit, making it an official national holiday as well. Even in France, the practices and knowledge related to Yennayer were recognized as part of the country's intangible cultural heritage in 2020. This official recognition is not the invention of a new holiday. Instead, it is the long-overdue acknowledgement of an ancient tradition that has been celebrated by the people of North Africa for centuries. It's a validation of a culture and a history that have shaped the region for millennia. So, as we've seen, Yennayer is not a frozen myth from a distant past. It is a living, evolving agrarian tradition that has been reinterpreted and enriched by North African communities over centuries. It's a festival of the land, a symbol of identity, and a celebration of life itself. Understanding Yennayer means respecting the deep connection to the earth, honoring the memory of ancestors, and celebrating the power of cultural transmission from one generation to the next. It's a beautiful tapestry woven from history, mythology, and modern identity. On that note, I wish you all a peaceful and abundant new year. Amazigh. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into history and culture.